Hello again. This is the continuation of the techniques for English teachers on how to create scenes. We already spoke about the warm-ups and the getting the students prepared, and talked about the first technique, which was the creating scenes using statues. In this video, we're going to look at two other techniques. The first one is using storytelling, and the second one uses writing. Let's start with the first one, so the storytelling one. In its simplest form, I ask someone to present a story. And once that person starts presenting the story, in turn, students will come up and do whatever it is that the storyteller is talking about.
الطفلة سارة كانت في الحضانة وكانت بتحب تراقب الأطفال التانيين بيعملوا إيه وتتعلم منهم. فكان في ولاد قاعدين بيلعبوا لعبة إن هما بياكلوا ورق شجر. فسارة يعني عجبتها الفكرة إيه ده؟ وهم قاعدين بياكلوا ورق الشجر كده، هي بقى افتكرت إن ورق الشجر طعمه حلو، بس هي ما كانتش تعرف إن هما كانوا عاملين كده وكده، يعني إن هما بياكلوا ورق الشجر.
Instead of having the whole group participate, to divide the space into 3 or 4, depending on the amount of students you have, where one person would tell a story, the second person would do the sound effects in that story, the third person would do all the characters, or if you have 4, the third person would do the main character, and the fourth person would do an interpretive dance or movement for all the other characters.
كان في بنت صغيرة اسمها صباح كانت بتحب القطايف جدا. في يوم من الأيام قعدت تدعي لربنا يا رب نفسي أروح عالم القطايف، نفسي أروح.
And this technique can be used as a warm-up, but then you can incorporate bits of these within the scenes you then create later on. And now for the final and more complicated technique of how to create a theater piece from stories. So the first thing would be to divide students into groups. I would say keep the group small. The smaller the group, the faster this exercise will take. Groups of 4 would be ideal, 3 would be perfect, 5, 6, 7 are possible, but not ideal. And the first instruction would be for each group to pick a topic they are passionate about. The second instruction is for each member in the group to tell a story within the topic they have chosen. Once everyone has shared their story, and if they're younger students, I would ask them to write their original story. The third instruction is for the group to merge the stories told in that group to create a bigger, more complex story. After that, they would then divide the bigger story into 5 main points that tell the beginning, the middle, and the end of that story. Once they've divided into 5 main points, I ask them to create a statue. Remember the statues from the first video. So a statue or a fixed image using their body for each of the main points in the story. Then we'll present all of these statues, so each set of 5, and give feedback. And then each group goes back to create the scenes, which are basically the movement from one story to the other. And then students will present all of it, so then they go from, the first presentation was images, and now the second presentation is of scenes.
يا بحر أنا جدي زعلان والبيت كئيب جدا، مش عارفة أعمل إيه عشان أبسطه وأبسط أبويا مش عارفة أعمل إيه.
شايفة البنت الحزينة اللي قاعدة على الشط دي؟
أيوة
صعبانة عليا قوي.
أنا كمان، بس أنا عارفاها، مش دي بنت حفيدة الراجل اللي عايش في البيت اللي بيلعب موسيقى.
And they'd get feedback on acting techniques, on voice levels, on whether the characters were believable or not, things to do with timing, usage of space, whether things made sense to an audience or not. And they'd go back and practice a bit more, and then come back for a final presentation. One of my favorite exercises that's also really good for group cohesion, but can also be used for closure or at the very beginning for a warm-up, is group rhythm. And group rhythm can happen in a variety of ways. The simplest would be for students to sit in a circle and in turn create a sound that they can continue to repeat. Yeah? So they can either do that through tapping, stamping their feet, tapping on their bodies, or with their voice. Thank you very much for watching the video, and I hope it was useful and that you will be able to use one or all of the 3 techniques to create your own scenes with your students in class. Thank you.